Is it possible to eat breakfast, lunch and dinner in 3 separate countries in just 24 hours?
It's currently 3:02.
I've had 5 hours sleep. And I'm feeling rather peckish. Now these are the rules. The 3 countries cannot include the country you begin from, and for all intents and purposes, the UK is counting as one country here. This isn't allowed. You must purchase and eat 1 item of food within the borders of each country. You must return to the country you started from within 24 hours. This is a timed challenge. The timer starts when your first mode of transport leaves the runway or station and ends when your final transport lands or arrives at the final station. Our first destination was to get to Heathrow Airport for 4:30 AM.
We are literally the first flight of the day.
Heathrow Airport is the busiest airport in the entirety of Europe. It's also the coolest airport in the entirety of Europe, and maybe the whole world, and that's because I'm currently in it. In the same way it was really cool when I was in your big fat mother. It's actually the 2nd best rated airport in the entirety of London, rated by over 47,000 people, which is a concerning amount of sad people who have spent the time to rate an airport. Terminal 4 may just look like a big horizontal line to you, but look closer and you'll realise it's actually shaped like a sniper rifle. Excitingly, there are 3 WH Smiths within about 200 metres, which must be some sort of incredibly depressing record. And wait, there's a 4th. The Bookshop by WH Smith. Unbelievable graphic design, by the way. In the list of priorities I have and want to see on a map, legible text is also rock bottom for me. I don't know how accurate this review can possibly be because it's 5 o'clock in the morning and nothing's open, but it's just a big straight line of 3 WH Smiths if you want a WH Smith sandwich, or if you, I don't know, want to buy a telly or some designer gear. There's not one Spoons. There's a caviar place and a guitar lounge. I don't even play, I prefer the drums. That's a terrible joke. Guitar. Since nothing was open, we went for a walk from one end of the terminal to the other, which was long enough for them to finally solve the 1996 murder of Tupac Shaker. After a strenuous 2 minutes of light walking, we've made it to the other end of Terminal 4. There's literally nothing to do. I might go to InMotion. Sadly, InMotion looked pretty static, but at least I didn't come across any goods issue with Heathrow last week. Good if you like rodents running around your feet. Nothing open after 8:30. Dump. Eddie provided proof of the little critter, and it feels rude to call this fella a rodent. He looks unbelievably sweet, and I bet he has got incredible culinary skills. Finally, our gate was called and our challenge was about to begin as we set off for our first country and our first meal of the day. Breakfast in Paris. The city, not the woman.
Please be careful when heading the compartments as that has been found.
It's currently 10 to 9 and we're about I think it's like an hour to get to the breakfast place I want to go to. Now our breakfast target was the Happy Cafe, whose owner is apparently incredibly happy, which is not something I would associate with being on your feet all day, nor with a Parisian. However, our next mode of transport was at 11:50, which meant we had less than 3 hours in Paris, so any delays would be pretty annoying. Oh, God damn it, let me in. Please just trust me that I'm not a criminal.
Votre attention, s'il vous plaît.
It wasn't clear what ticket I could buy on my phone to get to Châtelet-le-Halles. I definitely did not butcher that. So we queued for a physical one, yet another huge delay we didn't need. If we miss our next transport, it'll have a massive domino effect and jeopardise the whole challenge. And most importantly, I haven't booked a hotel for the final destination. The spontaneous French music was not helping. In the queue, nor on the metro. It is currently 20 to 11. The train is in an hour and 10 minutes. We should be just coming up to the Happy Cafe. And if it's packed, then I'm going to have to eat the equivalent of a sad Tesco meal deal, but in French. Right, look at this gorgeous street.
Lovely.
Right, the Happy Cafe. It was, we don't have time to sit down, okay? So, and we just panicked and we just ordered 2 croissants. It's a teeny tiny place, but my word, the guy is absolutely phenomenal.
He roasted you as well. That was the best.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I'm younger than you. And I'm like, oh, come on, mate. That's why I see the cafe is based on your happiness and not mine.
They kept winking at me, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, and then he tried to kiss you. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't. He's an absolutely lovely man. Currently 10 to 11. Shall we go to the Louvre?
Yeah.
The Louvre. I've never actually seen the Louvre apart from in the
Da Vinci Code?
I haven't actually seen that. I was thinking more Team America.
I got him, Carson. He's heading for the Louvre.
Blackpool.
Now hold on. I'm sorry, but this is a man completely nude battering a man who seems to have a cow's head for a head and who is also completely nude. Is this good? Is this good art? Imagine if you popped round your mate's house right now and he was halfway through a 15-year project of this, chipping away at the cowman's bollocks. Mental. I've just seen the Louvre and it's triangular. The building behind it is way prettier.
That's where it all is. It's all in there.
Yeah,
You go in through the pyramid.
The rest of the building is nice. That's just a big glass triangle. As we sat down to enjoy our new butter croissants and coffee, ultimately, how good can a croissant be? Only as good as the bakery section in Lidl, really.
I don't really like the French that much.
That is unbelievably rude. Which is very We ticked off our country number 1 and breakfast number 1, and it was time to head to country number 2, and most importantly, lunch. Right, you've been a real one, France. Got to get back to the station. And I actually don't know how we're getting there. Map says 40, but I think that's a lie. I don't know how to buy tickets. I just sort of walked in. I'm very confused by anything that's not a tap in, tap out system. It's foolproof, apart from if you just walk through it with gusto and belief. We've opted to try and walk to the station. We think we can make it in time, and then we can see a little bit more Paris, which is a risk, but one I'm willing to take.
But live life on the edge. You're wearing your hat backwards.
Sure, my hat is backwards. I'm feeling pretty nonchalant today. Oh, that's French, isn't it? Nonchalant.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, I've got nonchalance. Turns out, terrible idea. We aborted the walking mission almost immediately after realising I was a danger to myself. I just nearly got hit by a bus. Snelling, however, bottled it. Remains mentally unscathed. And boarded the metro just in time to jump on our one-way ticket to lunch.
Back off, mate.
What a baffling close seat.
When two become
We made it with a lovely 10 minutes to spare. Hume, it's the phallus train, that means something very different in English. It means willy. That's what I'm trying to say. In Britain, we like to imagine the European train network as a bastion of quality and price. But what is it actually like? I'll tell you what already. The chairs. Yeah.
Well, it does smell like we're in World War II. Apart from the musk, I mean, the table is fantastic. We can, eat my crisps on there.
It's a lot of room, isn't it? Look at this.
Although I don't know how I'm going to do with going backwards.
You can't go backwards on a train.
No, not really. Motion sickness. Why did you bring me?
That's actually really embarrassing. Like, imagine being a grown adult who gets a bit queasy in a vehicle. Now, we'd been awake for 10 hours already and had a further 2 hours sitting on this train, and I'm not gonna lie, we'd started running out of things to talk to each other about. Have you got a favourite smell? Thankfully, I realised through the power of NordVPN, this video sponsor, I can pretend I'm back in England and use my existing sports subscriptions without being blocked. A bit of Aston Villa versus Brighton on TNT Sports, the ultimate bonding experience with your mate without having to say anything of value. My favourite type of conversation.
The problem with Brighton is they always just try and walk it in.
Yeah. Now this is a face of an average person, and this is the face of a person who has just read on his NordVPN brief that you can use it to avoid the Netflix password sharing ban. You can use NordVPN's MeshNet feature, which lets you create your own network where up to 60 devices in different locations can appear to have the same IP address. Unbelievable news for your friends scrounging off your account. So use my link nordvpn.com/Ciarán to get a massive discount on the 2-year plan with an extra 4 months included. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the description. As I stared out the window and daydreamed about how long I reckon I would have survived in World War II, we arrived at our second destination. Right, Mr. Snelling.
We
are in Belgium. That's right, Brussels was our destination for lunch, although depressingly, I'd never heard a single good thing about Brussels. Could it really be that bad?
Birthplace of Stella Artois.
Oh, I'll be trying a couple of them later. Drinking a couple of stills, having a look at a couple of stills. No, that's...
There's literally nothing in Brussels. It's the EU.
No, there is. A ruddy good time. Our first port of call is to find a waffle. And the waffle place I was banking on is this little pastry shop, which comes in at a whopping 4.5 circles out of 5 circles. That's a significant amount of circles. Lena said God must have kissed these waffles, which would be an odd thing for God to focus on, wouldn't it? We were going to walk, but realised that there's no point. You'll cut the time short.
We're having a mare with
and we need waffles. Trying to figure out the public transport is difficult for a man as daft as me. Let's see the stops. Well, I don't think we want to go. We want to go the other way. After losing about 30 minutes to figuring out which is the correct train to get on.
So we're here, and that's where we've got to go.
But that isn't where we're not going to Churchill.
We've done it wrong again.
We eventually made it to the waffles that God had smooched. This is going to be the least nutritious day of all time. Just a croissant and a coffee for breakfast. And now I'm about to have just a fat old waffle. The waffles did indeed look decent and they cost around £3, but were they worthy of 4.5 green circles? Lovely, thank you. Look at this. It was €3.50. Yeah, shall we go to the Zara or the Primark? You very quickly discover when you go around Europe that it's pretty similar, but just different languages. That's the main thing. Apart from the stuff you can do in Amsterdam, but it's not for me that. There you go, Primark. Let's go buy some pants for £2. You've gone for the
apple one because it smells like a
apple cinnamon is a niche taste to go for, niche flavour. I'm going to go for the chocolate chip. I'm going to give this a... No, I'll give it a 3.
Circles. Yeah, 3.5.
It's not blowing me away, but I'm not sure it should be blowing me away. That's country number 2 and meal ticked off, but we had plenty of time to visit the Delirium Cafe, a pub with over 2,000 beers from all over the world, such as Ribbidibdibidibby, Urine, and one named after Sonny, Nublus. Just for the record, I haven't had a drop of alcohol in about 35 days, so I'm alarmed how much just one pint will kill me off. I don't want that to happen. I've got to fly the plane back. Tragically, sitting in a near-empty bar in the middle of a workday made me feel right at home before we decided to try a beer named after Chris MD.
That's quite nice, actually.
That is okay.
Yeah.
Now, I considered washing down the cum lord with an ass pilsner, but then all of a sudden, I had a much better idea. I don't know about you smelling, but I think we should wolf this down and go and have a proper Belgian holiday experience.
What's that?
Can we 2 Guinnesses, please?
Solid, but Douglas Luiz gets there ahead of Gilmore. Not much.
After soaking in the culture for an hour, it was finally time to head off to country number 3 for dinner. If anyone fancies a sing-along and some meth. We've left with a good amount of time, sensible. I am concerned at the rate of tipsiness I feel after 1.5 drinks. When your Italian mate dies. He passed away. My eyes sting, and I might be the sleepiest of boys right now. Like a cat trapped in a sunbeam, or a dog after a big walk and a big poo. We have successfully got on the metro back to Gare du Nord, and it's 3:30. I think the train's been delayed by 20 minutes, so absolutely fine for time.
We're delayed by 38 minutes.
This is severely unfair.
It's getting worse and worse at the same time. Funny number that, isn't it?
The whole day had gone relatively according to plan, but this endlessly delayed train was putting the final stretch in jeopardy. For every delayed minute was a minute lost in our final destination, Amsterdam.
Wait for the shocking homophobia. Oh my days, you can't say that anymore. It is now saying 1 hour 16.
Now what could make this scenario even worse? Oh, that's right, a Huang He-chan misery compiler on a dodgy football stream. Oh, Jezzy Crazy, cut me a break, big man.
It's here. We can finally leave.
I was hopeless as the fate of the challenge was now down to the speed limit of the phallus train. We needed to not only have a local stereotypical dinner, but also get through airport security and get back home. The late afternoon sunbeam caught me in this warm trance, and all I could do was snooze and see the situation when I woke up.
It's currently been 17 hours of being awake. And unfortunately, we are at the airport. We've gone directly there.
That's right, the bastard train delay meant we could no longer go to Amsterdam Central, and we had to complete the challenge in Amsterdam Airport in the most Brita Broadway possible. Fucking McDonald's. €32? Gordon Bennett, I've been fleeced! Now we had finally completed our third meal in our third country, and all we had left was to hope for 0 delays on our flight back to tick off the endpoint and receive our official challenge time.
I thought you were dead.
As the dramatic music on this video makes its way to a crescendo, I thought about offering you a heartfelt tribute and lesson from the experience, but if I'm honest, it was really tiring and my body was unbelievably uncomfortable at this point, and also some twat kicked my seat the whole flight home.
We have touched back down in beautiful Blighty, and there's a fucking train strike. I think every train ever is bad.
Yeah.